Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Betrayal at Krondor. Let's head into the inn in Darkmoor, which every time I look at it, I think Darkmoon. Alright, let's talk to this guy first. James cleared his throat. Glancing up from the business of cleaning his fingernails with a boot knife, the man regarded them frostily. Seems pretty standard text. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Barmaid, what do you have? You do have rations. Decent price? Not the best. Let's get everyone onto haggling and barding. Except, of course, Owen, since he doesn't need that anymore. And 8. It's not much cheaper. No, that's not going down at all. Wow. Yeah, we're not getting this any cheaper at all. Alright, well your haggling is at 100% now, so I don't need to do that anymore. Let's move over to James. This place just doesn't, like... I mean, we're succeeding in some haggling, just not actually getting anything out of it. Alright, let's do some barding. Owen played. His fingers slid easily over the lute's fingerboard as he moved between the chords of this kingdom mine, the notes filling him up as well as guiding him forward. 105 sovereigns. Thank you very much. How about you, sir? The man accepted their company. Owen chatted idly with the rough-looking fellow as James looked on, making certain that in his ebullient mood the magician didn't slip and give away the true purpose of their travels. "So where are you headed?" the man asked, describing a large arc with his ale cup. "Any place interesting?" "Actually, we're not headed in any specific direction," James intervened. "We're wandering, looking for an employer, treasure to watch, caravan to guard." The man snickered. "Or a caravan to steal from, eh? Freebooters, then. Well, there's not much going on in the kingdom these days, not in the west. The prince is seeing to it his roads are safe and his vassals happy. For the likes of us, he's taking all the fun out of life." James nodded. "You're not the first one to say so." Good times. James cleared his throat. That is like the exact same as the other guy, huh? Anything else? Nope. Alright, innkeeper. 5 sovereigns. That's fine. Okay. Party's abilities have increased. Barding is up to 16% on Gorath. 72% haggling on James. And, of course, no changes on Owen because he is maxed out on both of those. Alright. Yeah, time to just move on. Let's see. I think there is something like this far corner, although I need to zoom out. Yeah, there we go. Preoccupation had dulled his senses. Aware as if someone had thrown water over him. During pleasant dream, James grabbed Owen's shoulder. Don't move. There's something very not right about the ground before us. Oh, goody! Oh, my lord, this trap. Okay, so I think that there is connecting charges between those. Charges between those. Let me hold off and... Skin of the Dragon. Put that on Gorath. I hope that I moved that in the right place. That did seem like it triggered. There we go. Alright. So there was a trap. Is that trap guarding anything? It is. Multiple chests. Alright. Mordell wordlock chests. Gorath scanned the runes embossed on the Mordell clue plate. Sosk. You can spin, wheel, and twist, but it can turn without moving. Oh. Milk. Milk turns when it spoils. It's kind of an archaic way of phrasing it, though. Maybe not archaic, but... I don't know many people my age who might say that. Or younger than me, maybe, I should say. Told. It can pierce the best armor and make swords crumble with a rub, yet for all its power, it can't harm a club. Time? No. Rust? Yep. Another peasant's key. 8 healing herb packs. Let's see. 4 restoratives. Who could use some more? You got 24. 2 stacks of 24. 23. Oops. And this is Fatamore's Formula. Infamous by reputation, the notorious strength potion had on several occasions disrupted proceedings at Lancers tournaments. Okay, I guess I will give it to you, and I'll give that to you. That's a lot of stuff there that I don't have an immediate use for. But the strength potions would definitely be good. I should probably use those next time I know that I'm about to get into a fight. Oh, hello. Several pieces of charred wood and a circle of small stones were all that remained of the small campfire. Okay. Well, let's get back on the road. Keep going. Temple of Ruthia. Alright, let's check out the teleporter. Alright, so we're down here. We could go to Sung for 76, Silban for 101, Killian for 138. Is that the correct spelling? I thought it was 2 L's. Ishap for 123. Not that I have any plans of doing that, but not really sure how cost-effective it is. I mean, it's not very cost-effective. It's just time-effective, I guess. Let's go ahead and talk. James seethed. 4 times they'd asked one of the temple's golden-robed priestesses to send for the High Priestess, and 4 times they'd been left waiting in the alcoves of the temple's central courtyard. When at last it became apparent that their repeated summons were not going to be answered, James shook his head. We don't have time for this. Let's get going. I mean, I will grant them that the High Priest maybe probably doesn't care much about random travelers, but I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and rest. Distribute some more foods. Gonna need a new stack soon. But I believe there's another town coming up. I never did sell that extra shovel, did I? Gorth stopped and stared off into the distance. After several seconds of contemplation, he turned and began to speak. Look at that tree over there. The lower limbs have all been hacked off. That either means we're near someone's property line, or someone was ensuring they had an unobstructed view of the area. If we continue in this direction, we should proceed with great caution. Party's scouting ability has increased. Excellent. Well, not yours. 22 and 68. I will take that. Alright, I think that means that we're going to get into an ambush. James struggled to make sense of it all. As the enemy advanced, his concentration was in 2 places. Exactly as Locklear's was. That is a lot of guys. Holy cow. Well, this is maybe an issue. Melee, defense, scouting, stealth. Well, your defense went up. That's good. Oh. Oh, that was the effect of the thing. Can I shoot on out? Don't miss. Okay, that was the, Wait, seriously? Someone's leaving? Yep, there goes that guy. Alright, one of them got away. Would you guys stop missing, please? Down he goes. Keep defending. And that guy's running off. Can I get to you in time? Probably not. That guy's running off. Dang it, don't miss. And another one got away. Alright, there we go. Coming close. Surround you. So we're only going to be getting 3 of these guys, unfortunately. Which really does disappoint me. I want them all to die. And down he goes. Alright. Alright, the clerical oilcloth, I think, really did help there. How are we doing on stuff? We're okay, but... yeah, letting 3 of them go... ooh, tuning fork. Owen struck the metallic device against his knee, cringing as it sang its high-pitched note. I always dread it when the jongleurs tune their instruments, he said, killing the still-ringing note. It's that pitch. If my hearing were any more sensitive, I think I'd bleed from the ears. So what is this used for? I don't know. No room. Oh, right, I picked up that armor. And I did not find anywhere that I could sell things. Okay, oops. Well, we can take that. That's poisoned rations, so we don't want those. $51.89. Okay, I think I'm looking at the same corpses there. Yes, I was. What the heck is that? Silverthorn anti-venom. Purple globes fanned out from a delicately spun central vein of glass, each small grape-like bulb containing enough anti-venom to neutralize a double amount of silverthorn. Thanks to a formula created by Father Nathan of Krondor years previously, the anti-venom had saved the lives of many who had smeared it on their armor before confronting Mordhell raiders or consumed it to heal themselves of the effects of silverthorn. Hint, hint, we might be getting some people with poison, I guess. Alright, well, because 2 of those guys ran away, and, like, every single one of those guys had some goodies on them, I think I'll probably reload after this, but, so I'm just gonna leave those bodies as is for now. Go to the next town, see what we got over there. Yeah, it's over there. Let's just cut through. Or... nah, we'll save that for next time. Malac's Cross, James said. Do you think we should go in for supplies? Yes, I think we should. Malac's Cross was a tumultuous town grown fat on the prosperity of centuries. Exotic gewgaws bulged in storefront windows. I like this music. Each mere fractions of the wealth that coursed daily through the busy trading town. Over it all loomed the impressive bulk of Abbey Ishap, a temple nearly as ancient as the Kingdom of the Isles itself. Oh, what's in the barrel? 10 rope. Alright, so I've got an extra stack of rope now. So we've got an inn there. We've got a shop there. Got a house. And the temple. Let's go to the house. A man halted them. "Ticket!" he barked through gapped teeth. When James failed to respond quickly enough, he leaned closer and shouted, "Are you deaf? I need your lecture ticket." "What if we don't have a ticket?" James replied. The man smiled an unpleasant smile, hooking his thumb at 4 extremely well-developed soldiers who looked to be members of Malac's Cross's constabulary. He squinted. "Do you have tickets for this evening's lecture or no?" No, James said, backing into the street. We don't want any trouble. We'll be leaving now. The door slammed closed. Same thing. Alright. At the shop. Just buy, sell. Alright, surrounding light crossbow, broadsword, Keshian Tapir. I think that's more expensive than another place that I've seen. Alright, pretty standard stuff there. Everywhere James looked, polished metal gleamed. As much a temple to war as any temple of Tith, the cramped shop offered a startling variety of weapons and armor. The armory. Let's go to the temple. Oh, wow. There's a teleporter right next to it. Yeah, let's teleport to Ruthia. It's always going to be like that. Alright, let's talk. James motioned to the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively. Abbot Graves. Welcome, gentlemen. What brings you to the Abbey Ishap? My young charge here wished to visit your famed school of nobles. I don't think he would have let us leave Malac's Cross without paying a visit. Well, 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 I am pleased to see that our reputation precedes us. Am I to assume that you are interested in becoming a new pupil, or are you visiting from our estimable rival, the Academy of Magicians at Stardock? My father would never allow me to study magic formally, even though he more than has the financial resources to send me to Stardock. He thinks it's a waste of a young noble's time to spend 10 and 20 years with his nose stuck in a book, and yet be hardly capable of doing anything else. If it weren't for a magician named Patras that I met once, I wouldn't know anything of magic at all. It is true that magicians study for longer periods of time with fewer visible results, but no course of study is a waste of time. And while magic is not a primary staple of our directed studies here, Magician Pug is kind enough to occasionally send instructors from Stardock to lecture on issues that involve magicians. If you would be interested in enrolling... Also, why does he have a cross there? I regret that we don't have time for that kind of detour. He is on crucial business that takes him elsewhere. What about you, senor? Is there anything in our curricula that interests you? Books and scrolls? I'm a bit too old for that sort of thing now. Really? How unfortunate for you. And I was preparing to offer you a chance to attend a lecture on tactics that is being taught by one of our guest instructors. Now that I think on it, you probably wouldn't be interested. It's being taught by this, well, odd fellow, a one-eyed gentleman who goes by the name Bastira. Bastira? You mean Guy du Bastira? King Liam's first advisor? Yes, I believe that's his title. It's part of the Abbe Ishap's arrangement with King Liam. In exchange for setting aside part of our facilities here for the purposes of education, the king occasionally will loan us some of the finest minds in the kingdom. It works to our mutual benefit. I can still arrange to allow you in if you're still interested for a small donation of 20 sovereigns. What do you say, senor? Sure. I think we can make time. Where do we need to go? In town, near the Queen's Row, there's a small hall that we have reserved for Guy's speech. Simply present this ticket at the door and they will admit you all. I believe you will be in for a stimulating evening. Thank you, we're looking forward to it. Sweet. Alright, so that's certainly going to increase some stats. I'm not sure what yet. Let's go check it out. A man took their ticket at the door. Waving smoke from his face, James was surprised by the number of young nobles seated in the lecture hall, most looking as if they would rather be drinking ale in the tavern across the street. Despite that, they made friendly company as they offered up seats to James and his companions. All rise for Guy of Rillanon, first advisor to the throne of the Kingdom of the Isles, a page announced from the rear of the room. After an uncomfortably long wait, a pair of men dressed in purple tabards advanced to the foot of the rude stage and took up station, the looks on their faces stern and watchful. Quick behind them was a man dressed all in black, from tunic to trousers to the patch over his left eye. Mounting the stage between his escorts, he looked out on the assemblage as if they were all his soldiers in the field. Seeing James, a smile touched the first advisor's face. It seems I'm not the only first advisor here, James of Krondor, Guy said, motioning for everyone to take their seats. I'm surprised Prince Arutha could spare your company. James shrugged and covered with a quick lie that seemed to satisfy all in the room, as anxious as the rest for the lecture to begin. Hours passed. After a lengthy discussion of the battles at Deep Taunton and the siege of the Shamata garrison, the first advisor finished his lecture and dismissed his boggled students, stepping down from the podium to speak with James. A grave look was upon Guy's face as he grasped the signor's shoulder. You're lucky most of the men in this room don't know Arutha, Guy whispered, glancing at Owen. If they did, none of them would believe you had been sent to Romney to fetch this puny little squire. I'm also curious to know why you were traveling in the company of a dark brother. Seeing the fire burning in the advisor's good eye, James realized the old man was asking the questions in deadly earnest, and that his two escorts were standing close for reasons other than show. I'll not have Arutha betrayed. Waiting until the rest of the students had shunted out the door, James quickly began to explain the situation, allowing Gorth to fill in the details which he only partially knew. When he mentioned the Nighthawks and Romney, the first advisor nodded. Prince Arutha is right to send you to Romney, Guy said. There is a group of kingdom men there. I had Duke de Sevigny send them a few months ago when we heard about the guild troubles brewing there. We had some suspicions that the Guild of Death was involved. Grabbing up his cloak, the first advisor nodded it to his escorts to check the streets. If anyone in the kingdom can find the Nighthawks, it will be those men from Bastira. They've been of great help in the cause of the kingdom over the past few years. I'll warn you, however, that they made quite a few enemies along the way. Watch your step between here and the Black Sheep Tavern. Once the guards had indicated that the road was clear, a guy was gone. The building's watcher shuffled them outside. Pop in to the inn? James motioned to the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively. Ivan scowled. I hope you haven't come for the match. It's already over. Match? What kind of match? You're in the Queen's Row, and you can ask that question. A chess match, of course. It was wondrous. Jamie Tiller was defending his title against that snot-nosed prat from the Abbey, Kyle Fisher. Jamie moved his Queen's pawn to 4th rank. Fisher opened with Abar's gambit. Arrogant cud. But Jamie actually maneuvered into it with his knight. I was thinking that he was going for the queen. But he sacrificed his king's rook and took the priest. It's a brilliant move, but it left his own queen vulnerable, didn't it? You've got a good head for the game, senor. The prince likes to play, but we don't always have a board handy. Once you learn to play in your head, a board almost becomes redundant. I have to admit it's tougher earlier in the game. More pieces to keep track of. It's still fun to watch, though. That's why the Queen's Row is here. Perhaps I can relate the rest of the game over ale, assuming you gents are buying. What can I get you today? Tell me about this Abar's Gambit. Isn't there another move like Abar's Gambit, but a little different? Aye, there's Abar's Turn. That's a brave man's gambit. In the right place, it's about the most powerful structure a man can put out. But in the wrong place, it can cost you dearly. How does it work? I'll not be teaching you that play. If you knew truly how to use it, I'd have to give up playing chess against you. The very fact that you even know about that move tells me you know the game altogether too well. Well, do you have any other advice? With all the trade moving back and forth through here, I imagine you talk to quite a few traders. I talk to my share. Mostly the Queen's Row is a haven for the students from the Abbey. Anything unusual going on that someone making a long trip should know? Bridge out somewhere? Bandits attacking? The only thing odd I've heard recent is that Lord Lytton's got a batch of tax collectors stopping folk that are trying to get in and out of Lytton. Some ridiculous high amount of gold. If folks don't have it, the collectors just direct them the other way or end up splitting their spleens for them. Of course, the merchants around here wouldn't make a pence if they stood for it. They've apparently found some way to sneak around the guards. Anything lost and found? Do you keep things that people have lost here? Sometimes if it interests me, or if it seems like they would be coming back for it. Why, have you lost something here before? No, I was just wondering if there was anything interesting you found that you might think it's unlikely the original owner is going to come back for. If so, I might be interested in taking them off your hands. Probably wouldn't do me any harm to clear out the area beneath the bar. I believe there are probably a few things. Tell you what, I'll sell you the lot of them sight unseen for, say, 50 sovereigns. Deal? Yes. Sold, barkeep. I'll take it all. I'll have to gather them up first. I'll give them to you before you leave and put the sale against your bill. I don't actually know what that's going to get us. En passant? Sorry, you piqued my curiosity. What is an en passant? I've seen quite a few variations of chess, but I don't think I've ever heard that move. It's Keshian. One night I was playing this fellow from Durban. I had my game swinging on one particular pawn, and the game was in my favor. So what does he do but move his pawn to the square directly behind mine, then claim to have captured my piece? That's an illegal move. So I said. He goes on to tell me it's one of the most fundamental moves in the game. We argued about it for 3 hours until a student ran from the Queen's Row to the Abbey to dig up an old book. And there it was. Back of the text, written in Keshian, the original rules to the game. En passant cost me 2 diamonds and very nearly the Queen's Row herself. Needless to say, I don't allow that rule to be played in here anymore. Last fellow that tried to use it on me was a fellow named Navin du Sandow, and I set him straight, though he showed me an incredible move he invented called Sandow's Retreat. Can't quite remember how it worked now, though. Food? Any chance we can get something to eat around here? Wouldn't be much of a pub if you couldn't. Is it to eat here, or are you looking for something for the road? The road. If your cook can make up a batch of rations, that would be fine. It's a done deal, if you'll put up the 7 gold a pack. Still want them? Sure. I don't see any reason I wouldn't. It's a reasonable price. Good then. I'll set a blaze under Daphne. She'll have them for you in a few moments. I think that's a pretty good price. Ooh, assessment went up. Okay, so we got assessment for everyone from that lecture. I'll have to make sure that I put someone on something. And I am completely maxed out on space, so I won't be able to get any of that stuff anyway. You know what? Okay. Don't know what we're gonna end up getting off of him. Challenge? Any chance I can interest you in a game of chess? I'm not so sure you would want to play against me. I just learned a few new moves from a book I borrowed from the Abbey. Tell me the stakes and I'll tell you whether I'm interested or not. Emeralds, think you're up to it? Sure. Forgive me, but I don't seem to have an emerald. I felt sure I had one with me. Likely. I'm always making that mistake myself. I'll let you off the hook this time. At least you didn't pull the stunt after we'd played, or I would have suspected you weren't a man of honor. Ah, so if I get an emerald, I can challenge him. Alright. So we can bard. We'll get 89 sovereigns. The man scowled, apparently far more intent on something going on across the common room. He seemed uninterested in James' repeated attempts to chat. At last he glanced up and gave an exasperated sigh. What exactly do you want? Just a little friendly talk, James said with a companionable smile. News, gossip, a song perhaps? Well, go and find a bloody jongleur then. Leave me be. I've got better things to do than entertain every jackaboot that comes through the door. The table was cleared for them. Sitting down on a splintered bench across from the man, James shared a bit of the mercenary's bread as he listened to a story about a failed love affair with a married woman. As the story progressed from a sentimental recounting to a drunken blubber, it became evident the man had no intention of finishing the tale anytime soon. Alright, that is something that we've seen before. What about you? James motioned to the figure across the room. The woman nodded, then made her way across the wooden floor until she was standing before them. Petrum.
Wherever did you get those clothes, Lyle?
Liesel? Liesel? Maybe that's Liesel.
Must have snitched them off a marquis somewhere. You're getting a mild bit bolder, aren't you?
I'm afraid you have me mistaken for someone else. My name is James.
James, is it? Of course it is. And I'm not your Grand Petrum either, I take it. You're masquerading again. This isn't like that time you ran about Malac's Cross for a month begging and chewed up soap, is it? Oh, but you made some fine sovereigns with that act. With all that foam coming out of your mouth, a body could think you had the creeping mungus, and they'd pay a pretty coin just to have you away from them. You've always been a wily one, Liesel. Did you pinch any bread for me?
Why can't you buy your own bread?
Who pissed in your pot, eh? You know perfectly well that I haven't had nothing since Jack died, unless... What are you doing with an elf boy? Don't you know they bring bad luck? They're the ones what killed Jack and are stirring up all the trouble in Sethanon. What's got in your head? Have you run mad?
What trouble in Sethanon are you referring to, madame?
You really aren't Liesel, are you then? But you're his mirror image, you are. How could this be unless some kind of fairy evil, isn't it? That's what it is. Some kind of fairy magic, and you finally come for me. Took Liesel's form.
We aren't brothers of the dark path, miss. Please, trust us. Perhaps I may bear some resemblance to this Liesel character that you're talking about, but we're just ordinary folk. I would like to talk to Liesel, however. He sounds like he might be a relative.
I guess you don't look like evil fairies. Leastways none I've ever heard of. So, Liesel might be your brother?
I don't know. I never knew my father, and my mother never mentioned a twin, but when I was taken captive in Krondor, a few of the men who were guarding me kept asking about places I'd never been to and about people I'd never met. At first I wanted to dismiss what they were saying, but then I got to thinking about some of the events that happened before the Battle of Sethanon. Someone tried to slip in a double for Prince Arutha. Maybe the Moradel are repeating their old strategies.
This is all very interesting, but I haven't had a bite to eat in days. Do you think you could spare something for me?
Sure. I've got a pack of rations that are yours, providing you tell us a little more about this Liesel.
Last I saw of him, he was heading towards Lytton. Said something about wanting to meet some gentlemen there. More than likely he'll be staying away from the main roads. Try as he might, he does have a tendency to get into trouble now and again.
Thank you, miss. Watch out for yourself. James scowled. As much as I'd like to keep what we've found, we can barely manage with what we already have. He said, check your rucksacks. See if we can't make enough room so we can keep our new acquisitions with us. Alright, so we get some aventurine and a light bowstring. We can probably take that, for sure. Yeah. Alright, well I will definitely have to putter around, see if there's anything that I can... well, I mean, there is a shop there. I probably could have sold some things. I got 2 stacks of lockpicks now, too. Extra one of those. Oh, does this say what this does now? It does not. Barding is up to 36. Not that I'm keeping that part. I wonder if we drop that, hand that over to you. James changed his mind. As great as the temptation was to use it, he sensed it was neither the time nor the place to waste its potential by performing experiments. There was always a possibility it would fail him when he most needed it, but that was far more desirable than squandering what might be a valuable resource when it would gain him nothing. I don't know what the tuning fork does. Alright, well, for now, we'll call it an episode. When we come back next time, I'm going to try to fight those Nighthawks again, hopefully without them running away. I'll probably use some of my resources like my strength potion or something like that. Anyway, that will all be next time. See you then, everyone.